That's the sound of Pentecostal style playing, which is essentially adding blues to hymnal type or what we would call traditional Pentecostal style courses. And so essentially we're moving from, if you've gone through the series, or perhaps you've taken some of the other lessons on slow songs, Pentecostal style playing is focused on fast songs. And we're trying to learn how to play fast songs in church, play it in a way that matches the chords and the advanced harmonies we've already learned. I have on your lesson plan, I have a simple song, which to me would be a typical Pentecostal style progression. And the song is Down Through the Years. Down through the years, God's been good to me. Down through the years, God's been good to me. Down through the years, God's been good to me. God's been good to me. It's a fast song, very simple song. And the chord progression is actually, if you look at it, it's very simple. We're in the key of G. It's a 4/4 song as far as the timing. And it's a very, very simple song. In fact, if we were to write it out in Roman numerals or talk about what it is in relation to the key of G, it's down through the years. It's G, down through the years. God's been good to me, goes to the 4. Down through the years, God's been good to, back to the 1, me. Down through the years, 1, God's been good. And it goes down, walks down to the 6 minor, which is E minor, me. Then it has what I call a first ending, which is the 1/5 to 5/1 progression that we've learned in the series. God's been good to me. And then you have a turnaround chord, which is the D11 or the 4/5, C over D. Oh, and then you could use alternate lyrics. These songs are somewhat simple as far as lyric content. All of my life, God's been good to me. 4. All of my life, God's been good to me. All of my life, God's been good to me. God's been good to me. So it's really a simple song. When you get into like hymnal style songs, Pentecostal style music, the chord progressions are very, very simple, so the challenge is quite different. The challenge is not that you have 25 or 30 chords that you've got to jam in real fast. Really, the challenge of most fast songs, especially the older style fast songs, is that you don't have anything to do for quite a long time. In this case, you're on the 1 chord, down through the years. God's been good for 2 whole measures before you change to the 4, and there's nothing but that 1 chord to do. So it's kind of an opposite effect from the slower church style songs, in that we've got to put something extra in so that we're not just playing that chord. Now, left to their own devices, people solve the problem of trying to kill time on that chord. They solve either one of 2 ways, usually, when people are left to their own devices. One way they do is they country it. And by that I mean they alternate the octave 1 with the bass and the 5, and it sounds something like this. Down through the years, God's been good to me, yeehaw. Down through the years. Okay, and perhaps that works for some venues. We're not going to take that approach. The other approach that when left to their own devices, people try to solve the kill time on the chord is they will do what I call chord it to death. Or beat it to death, kind of like an old lady with a broom trying to kill a spider, and that is they just bang the snot out of that chord. Down through the years, God's been good to me. When I was growing up, I heard that probably the most often. Down through the years, God's been good to me, and it got a little overkill. We're going to take a different approach, and in our Pentecostal style playing, what we're going to do is we're going to take, say, the G or the C or going down to the E minor. We're going to take those components of the song, and we're going to learn a trick to replace that part of the song. So instead of playing just a G chord, we're going to take this whole trick. We'll call it a on the 1 trick in the key of G, because it's going to replace a G chord, which is the 1 chord in the key of G. And that trick will totally take the place of that song, so that your playing will sound more like this. Down through the year, God's been good to me. Down through the years. A lot better, huh? Down through the years, God's been good to me. Okay, and that obviously sounds a little bit better than the country or the banging it to death. So we're going to learn and take a segment of this lesson on each trick. And don't be discouraged if it takes a little bit to learn each segment. This is probably a 1.5 lessons compiled into one. And so our first lesson will be just doing 1 trick per each part of this song. Then the next lesson we'll get into other areas and other chords that you need to learn tricks to replace it. And then essentially the Pentecostal style play and genre of this website will be doing things different. Once you've learned that one way to do something, of course in Pentecost we're going to sing it 68 times. And so you want to learn to be able to do it a little bit different. And that way you get variety in your playing.